Hey guys, it's Lauren and welcome to another video about wedding planning. If you're new here, I have a few videos already about wedding planning and a wedding planning series, links down below. Also, if you are a lover of Target or you like shopping at Target, I did want to mention my podcast, which is called The Target Girl. If you're not already subscribed on iTunes or Google Play, you can do that by the link down below. And I also have an Instagram and blog for it. So if you love shopping at Target and you want to see more of my Target favorites, you can head to the.targetgirl on Instagram. So let's go ahead and get into this video. So this first one might be kind of obvious, but it's definitely very important when it comes to saving money, and that is going to be your guest count. So the amount of people that you're inviting is definitely going to be a huge chunk of your wedding. So on average, I think I think 100 people is kind of average, but some people might see that as really small, but it really just depends on how many people you have when it comes to kind of saving money on your budget, because some venues actually give you a price point based on the amount of people that you have. So for instance, if you have like 100 people, then some of the venues do like $80 per person. So $80 times 100 is a lot. So you want to keep that in mind when you're planning your wedding and talking with your fiance. Do you want this to be a big wedding with a big budget, or do you want to keep this to really close friends and family? And yeah, so I would definitely make sure that you are starting with your guest count when it comes to seeing where you can save money and seeing really who you want to be there and who you're willing to pay that much money for. Okay, the second one is another big one. This is the venue. So I have kind of mixed views about different kinds of venues, but I will tell you guys which one or which type that we went with. So basically, when it comes to your venue, there are all-inclusive venues and there are non-all-inclusive venues, I guess that's what they're called. Basically, all-inclusive kind of sounds like the name. A lot of things are included. You really want to make sure when you're at a venue like that you ask exactly a list of what is included, because we found that even some of the all-inclusive venues didn't have things like a DJ, or they didn't have a florist involved. Some didn't even have dessert. So you want to keep that in mind to see an exact list of what they have, because if they don't have a dessert person for cake, then you're gonna have to go and hire somebody else and spend money somewhere else instead of trying to have everything all from the venue and all of your vendors from the venue. When it comes to price, a lot of the all-inclusive venues are a really big price. It looks like a really big price up front. Like for instance, if you see $15,000 for an all-inclusive venue for like 120 people, that looks like a lot of money right off the bat just for a venue. But once you look at that list, like Josh and I did, we saw that these kind of venues have florists, they have cake, they have a DJ, they have all of your food included in that number. They even have tables, all your chairs, your linens, chairs for the ceremony that people are going to be sitting in, things like that, where we took a step back and we're like, oh my gosh, this price does look big up front, but imagine all of the stress and the money that would be put into finding tables and rentals like that on our own. So you want to keep that in mind for the kind of big number of the all-inclusive venues. You are getting a lot for that number. On the other hand, the other kind of venue is definitely a less price in the beginning. Some of them start at $4,000 or $5,000, which is a very low price for a venue, and that is because they don't come with anything. A lot of those kind of venues don't come with food or florals or dessert, really anything. They might provide you with chairs, but they're not gonna have like really pretty centerpieces that you can use. So you wanna keep that in mind. I would really suggest that kind of venue if you have a smaller wedding, because then you're not spending a ton of money on food outside of your venue. That way, you know, if you have a smaller wedding, then I would say smaller than 100 people, I would kind of go towards that venue, because you can kind of stay at a lower budget because of your number of people. But if you're above 100, in my opinion, just take this with my opinion, I would say going with the all-inclusive venue is going to be better for you if you have over 100 people, because thinking about trying to find food for 100 or over 100 people on your own without the wedding venue helping you, I think it's gonna be really hard, and it's gonna be really, really hard to stay in your budget. Okay, and the third one is your flowers. I think Pinterest has really just kind of shown us the amazing like look of florals at a wedding, but when you think about it, those flowers are only gonna last you in the daytime. You know, once that day is over, they're gonna be gone and it's gonna be sad, but you spend like thousands and thousands of dollars on it. So I would say if flowers isn't your #1 want for your wedding, it's okay if it is. It's totally fine if you want to spend all of your or a lot of your money on your florals. But if not, if it's not as important to you, I would definitely suggest going with these tips that have helped me. Kind of a lot of what I chose to do when it comes to saving money on florals is go with a lot of greenery. Our colors are kind of just a white, greenery, and rose or dusty pink, and I think that's really helped us too. Not only do I love those colors anyways, it was really nice for me to talk to the florist and realize that that is almost like the cheapest way to go with a lot of greenery. So basically what that means is that the bouquets are gonna have a lot of greenery, especially my bridesmaids, which saves you money there instead of spending a ton of money on extravagant florals and flowers. A lot of that bouquet can be a lot of greenery, which is really pretty. But then when it comes to centerpieces, this also has to do with centerpieces as well, because like Pinterest is all these extravagant flowers everywhere, and a lot of people don't realize that that is the #1, like one of the #1 ways that your price is going to shoot up. Like one of my friends is spending like I think like $2,000 on it, and it's just hard to kind of see the flowers and then think that you're gonna spend that much money on something that is like flowers unless it's really important to you. So when it comes to centerpieces, I would say once again sticking to a lot of greenery. Maybe it's kind of the cheaper just simple white flowers. For instance, we are probably going to have a centerpiece that I'll show you guys later what that is, and just kind of have greenery and simple greenery around it, maybe a few roses here and there, but that is going to save you so much money when it comes to florals and your bouquet. I cannot believe like some of the price points florists were giving me for my bouquet that is only gonna die unless I like try to press it and save it, but that's even really hard too. So yeah, bouquets can be up to like almost $200. The one that I was priced at in the beginning was $185. I would definitely say be adamant about what you want when it comes to trying to save money on your florals. If you want to tell the florist, hey, can I do more greenery in order to save money, or is that going to work, and really try to figure that out, because I would say it definitely saved us a lot of money. So yes. Also, repurposing your flowers is going to be huge on saving money. I almost forgot this tip, but for instance, if you have an archway at your ceremony that you're getting married in front of or under, I would definitely ask them if you can repurpose those flowers to take them from the ceremony and bring them over to the reception. So for instance, if you have a really pretty archway with flowers on it, you want to be able to take those off. Maybe you can put them at your sweetheart table or behind you guys or at your dessert table, and figure out wherever you can incorporate those same flowers from the ceremony to the reception. Okay, this next one is really doing your research on vendors. So basically what I mean by that is, for instance, if you are calling around to different photographers and asking all of them for their price point, you're gonna get a much better idea of a normal price point and one that is extremely high. So for instance, if I only called one photographer who was like over $4,000 for the whole day, and I just thought, oh, okay, I mean, I guess that price is normal, let's just book them, instead of doing the suggestion that I think would help you save a lot of money, is calling a few different photographers or emailing a ton and saying, hey, I'm looking for a wedding photographer, I'd love to see your price package. All of them should have price packages if they have done weddings before, and they will happily send that over to you. That doesn't mean that you need to pay them or anything. That doesn't mean that you're booking them. All you're doing is basically visualizing each different photographer's price, and that way you can narrow it down to one that you not only love their style, but you also love their price. So that is really helpful instead of jumping the gun and just going with the first person that you see. So you really want to make sure all of their prices are either around the same, or you can find one that is lower than all of them. So just another little tip. Okay, and the last one, it might be a little bit weird, or it might not be to you, I don't know. I think sometimes people get hung up on the idea of wedding favors. I have talked to so many wedding planners, especially my friend Jamie, who is from Wedding Chicks. She's here on YouTube too, and she actually has been to so many weddings that she is a planner for, and she ends up having to pick up all of the gifts that the guests were supposed to take home with them, because none of them even picked them up and took them home, and the bride and groom spent a lot of money and time making those kind of wedding favors or buying those wedding favors, and they didn't even take them. So I feel like you really want to take into consideration the idea of not even having wedding favors. I've been to a few weddings already, and one of them didn't even give out a wedding favor, and I didn't even notice it. I think people are going to have so much fun at your wedding, they're not going to, you know, get home and say, wow, I didn't even get a wedding favor, what the heck, you know. And it's things like that where they might even never use the thing that you give them. Maybe they forget it or they lose it, and it's things like that where they can cost so much money per person to give them a gift like a wedding favor, and I just don't think it's necessary. There's a ton of other opinions on that too, but I've just talked to so many wedding planners and people who have been to weddings, and they could care less about the wedding gift. They're there to see you and celebrate you. So I would suggest not doing it and not spending a ton of money on those gifts that probably won't even be used ever again. Okay guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope these tips really help you out, and once again, you can check out all of my other videos down below when it comes to wedding planning. I have one where I tried on my dress and I said yes to the dress. Also, I have my proposal video down below if you wanted to see that. Josh asked me through a song that he wrote me, and we did a whole music video, and then at the end of it, he proposed to me, and it was the best ever. So if you want to see that, it's linked down below too, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!